What up, guys? You're listening to The Movement. I'm O, your host for today, and I'm joined by Wilson, JP, and Cam, and we are the Shepherds of Men. If you listened to before, you already know what it is, man. This is a personal development, a get the fuck out of bed and win, not give a damn about what people think or say, because they're probably losers anyway, podcast. If you're easily offended, weak-minded, or bad words hurt your feelings, this ain't gonna be for you, bro. So honestly, man, with that out of the way, today's episode 4, we're gonna be covering mindset. There's two different kinds of mindset in the world. There's a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Guys, when I say growth and fixed, what do you think as far as mindsets go?
Wilson here. I think fixed mindsets, man, I think a lot of people come into personal development and actually growth for themselves with a fixed mindset, me included. And I think it's more or less that you're always looking for validation. You're always looking for someone to say that you're doing a good job or what have you. You're seeking recognition in a sense. And if you don't get it, it just messes your whole world up. And you just want to be recluse, go in a closet or do something stupid.
Right. A lot of it is like, this is set in stone. Like, I'm never going to be good enough.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And then growth mindset to me, I mean, I think it's just like failure's a part of it, and it's not going to mess you up if you mess up or, do something stupid, like on a podcast, say something wrong or whatever.
Who does that?
Yeah, we've never done that.
Oh, no, never. So I think that, coming into this mindset, whenever you were sending us some questions and stuff, it's just really cool to see where we've all grown, which we'll hit on that here in a little bit. But that growth mindset's huge because you're constantly moving forward, constantly trying to improve. And you can only improve on the things that you mess up on, typically, or other people's, advice.
Go ahead, Kim.
So the first thing I was thinking about when you were like, tell me, fixed versus growth or whatever. This may be a silly example, but somebody conversation years ago, and I've always, as long as I can remember, I've always had more of a growth mindset when it comes to just things I want to accomplish in my life in general. Like never being, I wouldn't say never being content, but never being just happy with being in the same place for very long. And I was talking to somebody that had a very fixed mindset when it came to, business or finances or success in jobs or whatever. And they literally, were arguing with me about how, if you go out and push yourself hard and you are trying to get a bigger piece of the pie, well, that means somebody else gets a smaller piece. And I was like, what are you talking about? No joke. And I guess there's apparently a whole lot of people that really think that there's an actual one size pie and that there's only so much to go around. And so if somebody has more, which is why we have the mentality we have in this country right now and around the world, is if somebody else has a lot, that means somebody else is getting left out. And that's just not true. And what I had through conversation in a loving way explain to them was you can cook as many damn pies as you want to. Right. Like there's no lack of ingredients or resources. So you can make as many pies and have as many slices or biggest slices as you want to. And to me, that's a very clear picture of the difference between growth and fixed.
Yeah, dude.
So I think, for me personally, I think when I look at fixed and growth mindsets, I look at the way that you handle adversity and criticism. That's, I think for me personally, that's the biggest separator between the two of them. Kind of like you were talking about, Wilson, whenever you said, when things go sour or things go south, does it ruin your whole world? If somebody doesn't say, hey, good job, buddy, does it ruin your whole world? Can you take criticism and grow from it? Or do you take criticism and it defines you? From a fixed mindset standpoint, people are defined by what other people think of them. But on the flip side of that, a fixed mindset can also be destroyed by praise, and I'm a firm believer in praising the work ethic rather than the victory. And that is as of recently. So please understand, these are learned concepps.
Absolutely.
I'm going to tell you right now, and there's a mix. You're not either or. There's a mix. Don't get me wrong. There's people out there that have a great growth mindset, and majority of very successful people are probably 80-20 growth to fixed mindset. But you're going to be mixed in there. And I grew up probably more so on the growth mindset, but some of my detriment was due to I said due to natural talent. I was always, I was able to set pull up records in school and things of that nature. So people told me I was, strong, or people tell you you're smart. And if you think that that's a level that you have to be, working hard at something that is difficult and potentially failing is unbelievably detrimental to your reputation. Yeah. If that makes sense, So for me personally, I think it's the way that and we'll get into it a little bit more later on the podcast, I would imagine.
Yeah, we're going to elaborate for sure.
Sure. Okay.
Now that I've heard all you guys is what you know, and I know Josh, you read the book as well. Chris, I know you started in on it. Cameron, have you read?
I've read it. It's been a few years ago, but I've read it.
Oh my God. So
it's amazing.
For those of you listening, Mindset: The New Psychology of Success by Carol S. Dweck. If you read books. If you don't read books, first of all, read books. Yeah, highly recommend this book, though, because it really delves. We're going to be doing like a high-level overview of this and kind of simple definitions and ways to kind of combat it and live in the moment, think in the moment of what you're doing. But to go deeper and really dig in on what we're talking about today, man, grab the book. It's very engaging. It makes you think a lot about who you are as a person, what kind of mindset you have, and what you have to offer in your circle of influence. But the actual definitions of fixed mindset, and a lot of you are pretty much right on, is in a fixed mindset, believing that your qualities are carved in stone. It creates the urgency to prove yourself over and over, and you're constantly looking for recognition. Failure is like death, like it's the end. You failed. But with a growth mindset, though, it's the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts, your strategies, and help from others. Although people may differ in every which way, people can grow through application and repetition. Failure is an opportunity. So failure is an opportunity to become with a growth mindset. Whereas a fixed mindset, like it's like you throw a tantrum because we see it all the time in sports. Guys lose or guys miss the putt and they just bend the shit out of their putter or whatever they're doing. You see that all the time. That is a perfect example of a fixed mindset in the moment. They may be growth mindset outside of that, but in that moment they chose fixed mindset because they failed. I failed. Here's my tantrum. So really, the goal for today is for everyone listening and us here too. It's really a gut check for us to recognize in your day-to-day lives what mindset you're currently employing, and if needed, to correct yourself in real time. Live in the present and on purpose. So this podcast is to really teach that mindsets are just beliefs, dude. Mindsets are just beliefs. However, they are powerful beliefs that only exist in your mind. And you can change your mind. It's that easy. We change our mind all the time. Do I want these cookies or that cookies? Do I want to eat healthy?
Yes.
Or do I want to not eat healthy?
Right.
You change your mind that way. So it's just as simple to change yourself from a fixed to growth if you're checking yourself. So really, that's what I want to cover today. So I want to cover mindsets in different arenas because I know not everyone here has an athletic background. I know everyone here in this room doesn't have an athletic background, nearly as extensive as Josh, especially. But
I'm going to disagree with that.
Hey, I played a lot of sports growing up.
Pretty much a specimen.
I mean, background's
the luge doesn't count.
Just amount of time that you spend playing the sport.
But we all,
no matter how good you were.
But I do want to cover that. So we've all played sports growing up. I mean, there's very few people that have it, but I want to approach that because we all had different coaches. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important because that's where your mindset comes from your game that you played. And really foundationally for me is where a lot of my mindset came from. A lot of that can apply to business too, but I definitely want to touch on sports and mindset. I definitely want to touch on relationships and mindset, and I definitely want to touch on business and mindset. So really sports, your mindset going into the game, how it influenced you in the game. Did throwing the tantrum really matter, or did accepting the loss, how you accepted your loss, how you accepted your wins, however you want to talk about it. In business, I want it to apply to how are you, in a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, how are you applying it to your work, your place of employment, or the business that you run? And your relationship, how are you viewing your relationship? I think that's a really easy one nowadays because I think a lot of people view their relationships in fixed mindsets, which is why divorce levels are so freaking high, dude. Like, you know what? This isn't going to get any better. Well, no shit, it's not going to get better, dude. You're not putting any
Just
effort
decided it wasn't. So.
Yeah, you just decided it's not going to, or that we touched on the grass is green thing, on the earlier episode. Yeah, the grass is greener because you're not working on your current grass, dude. Fixed mindset.
Right.
If you took care of your own grass, it'd be just as green. Growth mindset. So, first, man, I want to start on sports. I guess first of all, what sports did you guys play growing up?
Man, I played almost all of them that was available to me. So
Gotcha.
I played baseball in elementary school. Then I got soccer. I played soccer throughout that time, and then played football and stayed with football, and then all the way up through high school. So I enjoyed football the most. Baseball was really good, but talking about the mindset though, I was always taught to go have fun. If you're not having fun, why you play? So with that said, if you're competitive, that doesn't play. So you when you lose, you're not having fun because only when you go to play sports and you're winning is when you're going to be having fun. So that's me. That's my background. But I really enjoyed the workouts. Just staying active. I'm like a golden retriever when it comes to
Life.
what I like
Everything.
to do. in life.
When it comes to life.
So those don't know me. I'm like happy-go-lucky. Let's have fun. If I'm having a bad day, it's just like a 2-second type of mindset, and then I'm back to positive again. Like it's
Just
just
totally forgotten what happened.
I've totally forgotten what happened. So, and before I met Cam in our life, just in our background, dude, I literally was just floating through life, just. Hey, what's up? Everybody thought I was a stoner going through high school, and I never even smoked pot.
Kind of sound like one right now.
Yeah, seriously, just because of my personality, I was just kind of like, yeah, dude, what's up? Peace and love. So
Get out.
mindset for me it was a challenge for me to change from that fixed to a growth mindset because it didn't really matter. To me, it just really didn't, because it wasn't enforced in my family to have that type of mindset in life. It was just like, as long as you're having fun, you're in church, you're doing this, you're doing that. Everybody thought I was a great kid, and I was. So it's that's what I'm thinking of. Like, when it comes to me, it's just like really, my background is mostly fixed until I met Cam, and then we got some mentorship and got some people in my life to say, hey, you need to start thinking for yourself and just not just kind of go with the flow and roll with the punches.
Right. And we'll touch on business for sure, so keep that in mind.
We're talking about.
Go ahead.
Are we talking about sports still? What do we play?
Yeah, still
you
sports.
asked what we play.
Yeah. What sports did you guys play?
It's going to surprise y'all because I played a lot of sports. I was actually fairly. I know when Josh is in the room, nobody looks athletic other than Josh, but
Oh my god!
don't let the pictures on the
You guys
website
are,
deceive you. He's
forcing
really
the
not
fixed
that
mindset
athletic.
on me right now.
Yeah.
I think everyone that doesn't know Josh or has ever seen him just pictures like the Hulk sitting here with us.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding, man. Talk about
he's
living up to a reputation,
Right.
man.
Well,
People
we
are going
want
to
you to
see the
grow, man.
bio.
We want you to grow.
They're going to hop on our website and start checking us out, and go, "Oh my god, that's Josh!
JP?
Man, we thought this
Really?
dude would take up the whole room."
Is he?
You
He's
can go
6 foot.
check that bio out at
shepherdsof.men.
.men.
Nice
Live.
plug.
Ready to go.
I'm gonna actually have Derek change your picture on the site to the Hulk.
We should all just pick an Avenger.
Yeah,
I want to be Iron Man because he's cocky and
I'm going to be Thor. I don't want to be Hulk.
you be Thor.
I'll be a
Hulk's
Labrador.
This is so. Anyways, back on growth mindset. I think a growth mindset is wanting to be an Avenger. So I did play everything. I played. I played ball coming up as a little kid, but then organized in like junior high school type stuff. Now I'm from a small town, so I was good enough to start in everything, but there weren't that really many options, as far as like bodies. But basketball, surprisingly enough, was actually my top sport, and we were really good. I loved that, and the coaching that I had there. On top of what my dad taught me, but the coach that I had there was actually my best friend's dad, and just the mindset and the mentality of winning, and really the individual effort, and then coming together as a team. What we could do individually, what we could do as we got together, and how we, long term that would be the result that we had. And then water skiing was another one, which is a totally different ballgame because I started skiing when I was 5 years old, and that is one to this day. You get me behind a boat on some slick glass water. And I'll just smile. Like I can't even control it. I just smile. But it was one of those, when I was 9, I was slalom skiing, and there was people where we went. It was like this
That's
big,
impressive.
There was a lot of people that just like, who's this little kid, like out there just cutting up on a slalom when he's 9 years old. But I still had that, where it sucked a lot. I mean, I fell a lot and did all those different things, but I, kept getting back up. And my dad we'd stay out there all day long. And I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but it was always it was never like that's good enough kind of thing. It was always an effort kind of mentality.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that changes your path going forward,
Yeah.
Side note before we move on. So we were watching this cliff diving thing because, we like to do our little adventures and jump off these cliffs into the rivers and all this different stuff. But we were talking about that. We're like, man, imagine these cliff divers at like Red Bull hosts this like cliff diving thing in these other countries. And I was sitting there thinking about it and I was like, dude, these guys are awesome. But how many belly flops did these guys have to do before they actually landed the way they're supposed to land? That's got to be brutal. These guys are jumping from like 50, 60 feet in the air.
That's a painful growth mindset.
Oh, my God. You
So
get it right real quick.
Better, please. I hope it is.
So Cam, were you doing any competition with the skiing?
I never did, and I don't really know why. I think it was more from a timing perspective and location perspective, not to make excuses, but I was young enough to where I couldn't get to things on my own.
Right.
But my dad's responsibility, my dad owns a small business, and as much as I respect what he's done in that arena, it did take a lot of his time.
Right.
So there were just certain things I couldn't go do. I went with him every weekend. We were on the boat, like when the sun came up, we were on the water.
Right.
But as far as getting involved with taking it to the next level, it's something I always dreamed about and just never really did it. I wish I had, because I started at such a young age. I would have been a badass, and I'm not even trying to sound arrogant. I had enough time in to where I was an expert at it at a young age, because I just done it over and over and over and over and over. And you take some pretty gnarly hits, when you do that stuff, but I just wanted to go again. Yeah. Always. And when you talk about business, I'm going to bring that up again too. I think it's how you react to that. Like some people, fixed mindset, when you fall, it's like, that hurt, I want back in the boat. Growth mindset is, that hurt, I don't want to fall next time, let's go again.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I was going to say, because I did motorsports.
Oh, yeah, that's a much harder fall.
Yeah. Dirt bikes, out, enduro, all that kind of stuff. So that's, like, I can talk about that on another piece. But yeah. Hey, JP.
Well, you JP, man.
Just me.
JP, did you play any sports?
Done? You played like cricket, not a cricket, but what's that? What's the one with the
Cross?
Croquet?
no, like the shuttlecock. What is it called?
Shuttlecock. You played shuttlecock.
Isn't that called lacrosse?
Oh, so you guys built me up all this. So
No, it's not lacrosse. It's like the
little thing on the ice?
No, it's like the little
badminton.
small badminton. You played badminton like professionally or something, right?
yeah, I was actually pretty badass. So you guys have built me up so much. I'm really excited to talk about my foosball career that I had. But
ping pong and all that other stuff too.
I played just about every sport you can imagine when it came to a backyard sense. From an organized perspective, I did a lot of mixed martial arts from a lot of different perspectives, like kickboxing, karate, different things like that. Played baseball. Obviously, I think every kid plays baseball. Yeah. That was not my sport.
Mine either.
Not because I couldn't do. There wasn't. I don't know. I've always been big into aggressive style sports, like contact sports. Anything that creates a lot of hardcore.
A lot of contact.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just that, but just stuff that requires. I've always thought of baseball as like and I give those guys credit because that's a mental game, like golf.
Yeah,
it's a mental game like golf. But I was always kind of a little bit more aggressive in my approach to what I thought was fun. Obviously football. I played football, loved football, but by far my favorite sport was wrestling. That was and. If you talk to anybody that wrestled, they'll tell you that is the most challenging sport. It's unreal. Like you wrestle a couple periods and you're like, dude, you're only out there for a couple periods. But when you're going muscle to muscle with another guy, and it's just all out, a minute is a long time. And getting in your head and things of that nature and stuff. So I think this is a really good segue into the mindset conversation, because from a sports perspective, there's definitely talent and there's work. Yep. There's two different aspects, and you're looking at me like you're going to bring that topic up. So I don't want to go
perfect.
I don't want to go too deep into that, but it's true. And I'll tell you, one of my biggest detriments was the fact that I was very talented. I won first place in my kickboxing competitions I did when I lived in Colorado. Strongest kick, strongest punch, good technique, stuff like that. Set the pull-up record
Yeah, we heard about that earlier.
At my school, just different things like that.
I love you.
I was just athletic. I was just naturally athletic.
It's just me being jealous.
And it's it's not even a braggadocious thing, to be honest with you. And I'll get into it a little bit more as we continue to talk. It actually ended up being somewhat detrimental to my career moving forward, which happens to a lot of people. And just to be totally transparent, I'll get into it as we talk. But that's that. It very much so aligns with the fixed and growth mindset.
It will, man, because everything, and the issue with that, and really what hurts athletes going into the next level, I'll say college and the next level being professional, is because everyone focuses on talent. And that's why you got these cocky douchebags coming up into college that don't want to listen to the coach or make it out of college somehow and get into a professional level that are complete, I don't even know what to say, like show off. They just get up there. They have this huge ego because everything they've been told is talent, talent, talent.
I mean, how many times have we seen that where there's a super talented athlete that gets drafted in a high round of whatever sport it is, and I'll use football because season's starting, and then they just suck. I mean, they're just a total bust. They've got every gift on earth, but they have zero mental toughness. They have zero work ethic. They have none of that stuff. And then you could look at, and I know Josh is going to get on this, but you look at like the Patriots, just as an example.
Yep.
They've taken a lot of less talented, quote unquote, players that fit in their system, that have the right mentality, and they fit the culture. And this is some things I've been learning over the last year or so in business, more so than anything, is identifying people that fit the culture, identifying people that have the right mindset and the right work ethic, as opposed to the person that just looks good and sounds good on the front end. Like, I'd rather you look bad and sound bad and have your crap together on the inside and learn how to think, because you can grow with that.
Well, if you think Bill Belichick picks his teams based off of talent, you're out
no
of
way.
mind.
No way. Yeah.
This
I mean,
dude-
just look at
this
his roster. I mean, like, look where they came from. Look where they
Right.
got drafted, traded, whatever.
Right,
all
but
culture.
I think one of the biggest examples of what you're talking about from a talent perspective is guys that burn out in college.
Yeah.
How many 5-star talents come into college school? Which, whatever, 5-star or 3-star, people can look at that and say, oh, well, that's crap rating anyways. But the fact of the matter is, the 5-stars went to camps. They were looked at heavily. They did their Spark challenges, crazy talented, but they've never been punched in the face. They've played with a bunch of kids in a small pool, and they have dominated. But then when it went to the next level, they realized that they're in a bigger pool now, and all the other kids dominated as well. And now they don't know how to handle it.
Small fish now, baby.
Yep.
So the biggest issue is, and there's a cat in a town very near to us. I'm going to keep it as far away as possible, but it's very near to where we live and operate. And he has the exact same mindset. He's very, very talented, but mama pampers that ass when he gets home. I mean, it was a customer I talked to today, and he was telling me about it. I said, yeah, how's the football team this year? We got to talk about football. He said, man, actually, they're all right. The coach, da-da-da. So why aren't you coaching them? He's former Marine, used to play, bad dude as far as football goes. And didn't make it to NCAA because some different things. So she was like, I'll show you, man. I was going to be a Marine. And it was a bad dude, man. It was bad. So anyway, he was up there, and we talked mindset for a while, and he started telling me about this kid. He's like, this guy's mom wakes up at 2 a.m. because of pork chops if he wants. He goes, this kid's packing on the right kind of weight, and he's a running back. And he goes, he's getting caught every time. He goes, every time he gets tackled, I look at her and go, you just tackled your son.
Oh, dang.
And I'm like, whoa. I said, why aren't you the coach again? He said, man, politics, But past that's the issue, is that the fixed mindset in sports, and I'm just going to read an excerpt from the book itself because it's powerful. Natural talent should not need effort. Effort is for the others, the less endowed. Natural talent does not ask for help. It's an admission of weakness. In short, the natural does not analyze his deficiencies and coach or practice them away.
Can I just say something while we're on this portion of this?
Yeah.
Because I think as I'm listening to us talk, I'm thinking, some people they've heard the first few episodes of the movement, and they're like, okay, this is good stuff, but how does this apply to me being a better man? Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully you're hearing that, but it's the mentality behind it. And we're talking about sports right now. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about those things. But the truth is, the same kid that got his ass pampered by mom is also not filling the male masculine role in society that he should, even off the football field.
Right.
It's having the same detrimental effect. And so it's not just how do you have this growth mentality while you're out there running drills? It's how do you have it while you're contributing to society as the person you should be as a man.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm glad you prefaced that so people don't get off topic there, but and that's why we'll cover different areas. It's not just sports. Sports is obviously one of the big ones that mindset comes to mind, but it's not the main topic here. The main topic is mindset in itself in every area of life, which is definitely why I want to focus on relationships next, and that's what we'll focus on next is marriage and dating, whatever you want to call it. So we cover all the aspects, but sports being, and not everyone listening is probably an athlete. That's okay. But that's why we'll cover the other deals too. But as far as sports goes, man, it's Mia Hamm, greatest female soccer player of all time. She's been quoted as saying, "All my life I've been playing up, meaning I've challenged myself with players older, bigger, more skillful, more experienced, in short, better than me." So I think that's incredibly important, and it's not a bad segue going from. I mean, we can touch on sports some more all the time. But I don't want to spend too much time on that because there are some more important aspects I want to get to. But that alone it translates. I mean, really, the success principles translate all the way across the board anyway, and that's a huge one. Yep. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Mm-hmm. Not even as just an athlete, just to close out on the athlete stuff and let you guys have some more to
I got one quick quote just because what you just said from her. But I saw something, I think it was from Ray Allen. If you guys don't know who that is, he was in the NBA for a number of years, won championships for like 3 different teams, one of the best three-point shooters in the history of the league. Incredible, like at his craft, incredible. And there was a little thing on ESPN or somewhere, and he's got 2 or 3 boys that were playing ball, and he was watching them play, and they were getting their butt kicked or they whatever just happened, and he said, "I love to see them lose." He said, "That makes me happier than anything is to watch my kids lose." Yeah. He's like, because it'll make them better. Yep. Mm-hmm. And some people are hearing this right now going, you love to see your kids lose. And they've never thought like that before. Right. Like, heck yeah. Like, I love to see my kids get knocked down. Yep. And then I love even more to see how they get back up, or have the opportunity to help them get up.
You think about how hard that was, though, because like she wasn't getting dominated because the players around her in her age group or her pool were just as good as she was, or she wasn't that talented. She was really talented, and she could have dominated the group that she was eligible to play in.
She played with guys.
Yeah, but it was a decision to play up.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a whole nother level.
Yep.
I mean, it's one thing to have a growth mindset and try to get better and stuff, but she had the choice to dominate where she was, and it could have very easily done that and decided to step up. Like those are big boy decisions as a child.
That's a big boy decision as an adult. And it's long term versus short term. It's like, do I want to win now or do I want to win in life long term? Right. Do I want to get my butt kicked as a kid for probably a decade as I'm coming up, and then I'm just going to be the best that ever played the game? Or am I more concerned about if I won the trophy in 6th grade?
I just think we take things for granted sometimes. You look at some of these people, like we talked about legends in the last episode and stuff, and we take things for granted. But sometimes if you put yourself in their shoes and what they did to get to where they're at, and you actually, you talk about, people respect people because of how good they are at what they do and their talents and stuff like that. But if you actually did some research on some of these people that you respect and you see how hard they worked, your respect will go to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and don't ever tell somebody that they're lucky that they got to where they're at. You should deserve a smack in the face if you tell me that you're lucky, that we're lucky to be where we're at in life.
I love that. I actually love that, and I hear it at work often. All the time. Well, you're just doing that because of where you are. You're the only reason you're doing that is because of the location you work in. And I'm like, bro, put me in your area, bro, and I'll crush you there too, bro. And that is growth mindset.
Yeah. That's a growth mindset.
Because fixed mindset and my input on this particular deal, even talking about sports, is you have families that are raising their kids with this, mentality that you participate, you get a trophy,
everybody
you get a ribbon,
trophy.
You get all this stuff, and that's not what success. That's not going to breed success. Now, is there a right time to give a kid, acknowledgement for participating in the sport, like what you were talking about? You give them, or JP, what you're talking about, you give them congratulations to their effort of going into it. If you lost, that's fine, but if you're putting in the effort, then we're good to go. You know what I mean? And it's all about the effort base. And I think that this fixed mentality is on the parents. The parents are, and we're going to talk about relationships. Sure. I think that you as a parent, you need to expect that your kids are going to fail and be okay with it, because what that failure is going to grow them, and you don't need to cover them up or put a bubble around them to where they don't experience those failures. You should let them, like, just like how I, train my son. If I tell him not to do something and he's not going to listen to me, and I know it's possibly going to give him some harm, I'm going to let him do it. Mm-hmm. And he's going to learn from that. Now, I tried to do what I had to do, but I'm only going to give you one warning. If you're going to be not listening to me, that's on you, kid.
Right.
But and I'm not going to be putting him in a situation where he just jumps off in the river without a jacket or something. That's stupid.
Ashley's listening to this. I hope you know that. She's going to listen to this.
But like,
leave
if
the
I
parachute
say,
in the
man,
plane.
it's hot,
I don't care.
hey, the cup is hot or the food's hot. Don't grab and eat it right now. And he goes and grabs and eat it. He's going to listen to me next time.
Right.
Hey, it's hot. So
and
now he knows
failure is the best way. Failure is the best way to learn. Right. Failure is becoming. That's just what it is. Failure is becoming. And I didn't really talk about my background. I played some hockey, played some pickup stuff with that. I played volleyball primarily. My coach was Hawaiian, Coach Kaliakamoa. If you're listening, maybe, possibly, what up? I love you still. But they're the ones, and they were a married couple, and then they're and of course one of their friends coached me at another high school, which was awesome. They ran a club team and stuff, and they taught me I may not always lose. Or may not always win, but I never lose. I learn, right? And that was because at first we didn't have the best team. So to curb that, man, to curb that fixed mindset of, man, we suck, we're probably gonna lose this game, because we had so many losses. But we'd go in a tournament and just be 4-0 and out. Like, time to go home, early weekend. But we didn't stay there because of that mindset. They instilled it all the time. Boom, 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 and then we grew out of it, and then we started winning. And then the next year we came in and we were so much better because we were like, dude, we got this, dude. We just pick up where we left off, So I may not always win, but I never lose. I learn. Failure is becoming, all these things where it's okay to screw up. But the issue there, and I want to touch on sports and relationships, because that is foundational for growing up. Mm-hmm. From children, like we all have children, we all have boys. I've got a daughter. Foundationally, that's what they know: sports, relationships. Because we get them into sports, what do they learn? Hopefully, they got a good coach that tells them, "It's okay, dude. It's okay. Try doing it this way next time. It's okay, man. So we didn't lose. It's okay. We learned, right? This is what we're gonna do next time. This is how we're gonna accomplish this goal." And relationship-wise, it's the same. It's very, very similar. Mm-hmm. But you like you said, they don't listen. And a lot of kids, that's just part of it, dude. Right. They have we're born with such a hunger to learn, and that goes away because we're constantly told no, which just depends on the kind of person you are. Some kids are born with an insatiable growth mindset, and the society calls them geniuses, right? Or, man, this super talented kid, we can let him skip grades because he wants to do this. Some kids come out, dude, and they don't stop learning. You got people that are talking full sentences at 6 months. Kids that are talking and doing advanced algebra by the time they're 2, 3, because they won't put the book down. It's an insatiable growth mindset, but we lose that, right?
That can be killed by people around them by saying, "You're a genius. You're a genius.
Right.
You're a genius. You're a genius."
Yeah.
Putting labels on them.
Yeah. Same as the athlete.
Yeah.
You're so good. You're so good. You're so good.
And that goes back to what you said about your coach. Like, I think that was really cool that you said that, because a coach, like, I love my mom. My mom was a big part of my life. I knew. I'm pretty sure I knew her since the day I was born. But what's but what's cool about that is, like, I had some coaches that were very influential. I had some coaches that were meh.
Right.
But I had some that were really influential. And for one, my wrestling coach that I had, he couldn't be the head coach for whatever reason, but he was a 3-time state champ. The 1 year in high school he wasn't a state champ, it was because he broke his leg and he couldn't do it.
What's the problem?
He was a bad dude. He was bad. But what was cool was he was really good. He was still young when he was coaching and stuff, and he noticed that I had talent, but he noticed that I was up here. I had a problem. I'm pointing to my head. Sorry, I forgot that we're talking in an audio. But he knew that I was in my head. I was talented, but I was in my head.
But you knew it.
So you know what he did? He kicked my ass every single day. I'd come up there, and instead of wrestling a weight class up to practice or whatever, he would walk out on the mat. Every single time it was my turn, he would walk out on the mat with me. And he was so much better than I was. But he knew that's what I needed. Because everybody told me I was talented, I was strong. You know, I was a natural wrestler. I had good balance, you know, and stuff like that. And he would kick my ass. But you know what it did? At my first year ever wrestling, I went 12-2 throughout the season. I was seeded number 8 in the state. My first year ever wrestling.
But you wouldn't have done that without him, because halfway through you would have started thinking your stuff doesn't stink, and
and then and somebody else would have kicked my ass.
You'd have been so much in your head that you would get in your own way.
Yeah. But I wanted to put that in there because that just goes to show that. And he, dude, I guarantee he didn't read a psychology book. I promise you.
Right.
But it was just a matter of he understood what it meant to get your ass kicked. You're going to get better every time. You're going to fail, but if you're going to fail in practice.
Yeah.
You know, bleed more in practice, or sweat more in practice, bleed less at war.
Yeah.
You know, kind of statement like that's. I love that kind of shit, and that's what drives me to.
You good? Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
good.
good.
I have a
So
good
freaking
like
rude.
for everybody who's listening. How I imagine this as a personal story of mine. I had a good friend of mine, kind of relating to fixed mindset, growth mindset, and the difference what most people experience. Well, we used to, all of us guys have all probably fought at one point in their life, especially with our mentality and our upbringing and things of that sort. But if not, and you're listening to this and you have never, you have an innate fear right off the bat because you've never been in a fight, because you never don't know what a punch feels like or how to get your ass kicked. And me and one of my best friends from Chattanooga, his name's Jason, we went to school together, and we would have to. Our school, you just had to fight. There's several situations that you get picked on, bullied, whatever. Just it was there. And I remember talking to him a couple times about how he got his butt kicked so bad because he went. He had a friend of ours that was running in some trouble, and there was 3 guys that he went over there and just confronted them. And I asked him after, I was like, dude, like, let me know before you go over there. So I chased over just to make sure, I had my boys back. But at the same time, though, it's like I had that innate fear in my mind of going, crap, dude, this might not go well. You know what I mean? So I asked him afterwards, I was like, dude, what gave you the courage just to go over there and just do what you did? It's kind of crazy. And he goes, well, I've got my ass kicked before, so I already know how that feels. So it don't matter. But this action needed to be done because it's the right thing to do to take up for your boy. So the fixed mindset would be that fear that you've never failed, or you don't move forward in life and go after something, that will hold you back for the rest of your life because you're letting that fear of failure to hold you back. Where the growth mindset is like, I've already experienced it, man. And if you've experienced it, you know how everybody gets that little butterfly feelings in your gut and stuff going, oh, man.
Did anybody picture a golden retriever running up with his tail wagging, attacking another dog?
Well, hey, I could turn into a pit bull real quick. You know what I mean? So, and it's all a fixed mindset or whatnot. And I have gotten a fight that I didn't necessarily would call I won, but I felt a bunch of punches, and it wasn't fun.
I felt a bunch of punches.
Yeah, I felt it. But after that point,
Chris wasn't fighting one guy, and he's like, "Y'all get off me! Y'all get off me!"
I mean, if I need to clarify the story, no. But anyway, it was a learning curve, and all of those failures in life, and yeah, you are right. When you fail, you learn the most, and it's not only just the lesson that failure is going to bring, but it also gives you a little bit more deeper inside of what you're made of. And that failure is going to bring the best out of you, and especially if you have somebody that's in your sphere of influence that can help coach you through it, because that's what the coaches are supposed to do, is when you do fail, critiquing you to get better, but and also at the same time to be that moral support to go, hey, it's all right. I had the same experience, man, and this is how I got through it.
So the reason I firmly believe the reason that the fixed mindset is so prevalent nowadays is because school is so prevalent nowadays. Yeah. And what does school teach you?
To be an employee.
Failure is not only to be an employee, but failure is death, right? Failure is bad.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You can't move to the next level if you fail.
Right.
Where sports, business, that's part of it, man. You learn what not to do. right? You learn what to do to grow and get to the next step. That honestly, I think that's why the fixed mindset is so prevalent. You got to go to school, you got to go to school more, and then you get the job.
Well, what do you do since day one going into school? You're tested,
Pass tests.
Yeah.
so if you pass this test, you get to be with the gifted people.
Problem
If
is
you
it's
don't
not a
pass this test, you're not as smart.
You're not passing real life tests though.
No.
You're
just
labeled.
You're just passing school tests, but you're not passing real life tests. Getting your ass kicked on the schoolyard is passing a test.
Right.
Making an A on a spelling quiz is not.
I've always said that, man. I've learned some of the best lessons that I've ever learned on the playground during recess.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of the best lessons, and some of it was. And I'm not going to say that I could have potentially got my ass kicked. I have had my ass kicked several times. Actually, when I was younger, I had my ass kicked several times.
Which is why he looks like the Hulk now.
Right.
Well, you start doing something about it after a while. Yeah.
So one thing I want to bring up, when we were really Shepherds of Men was still inception, really just before inception, really moments before, you both asked me, we kind of went around the table really, but you both asked me, what are you afraid of, O? And I was like, dude, not to be whatever, but nothing.
No. You said not a motherfucking thing. Yeah. That is exactly what you said.
Let's make sure we clarify.
And that's what me and Wilson locked eyes, and we were like,
this motherfucker right here. And then by change, I was like, okay, maybe heights like without restraints, right? Like the picture of you in Maverick, I was like the Rock, I'm like, the wind can blow them off there. They're gonna die.
JP said the wind can't blow me anywhere.
Right. No, but really that's really my only fear. Like I don't know how I was a telephone man for the longest time, was climbing poles, but I overcame that, so that was good. But I had to if I wanted to keep getting paid. But the thing was,
right there.
But that's my biggest thing, dude, and that's mainly because Coach is growing up. But I'm not afraid of trying something new, of doing something different, because, dude, what's going to happen? Fuck, am I going to die? Like I told you guys then. But did you die, though? Like, it's my favorite thing. Like, sure, dude, you want to drive the sports car? But sure, dude, I don't know, I've never driven stick, but I'll fuck it up, What's your hope you don't need a
I'll
transmission?
grind it until I find them.
But that's the thing. It's like, I'll mess it up, dude. Can I flip it? Probably not. Okay, cool. Do it. And I'm like, I didn't die, so I didn't do it right, but I didn't die.
Well, you're talking mindset, and it's like, I don't know if, I think most people would say they are afraid of a number of things, but do you let the fear control what you're going to do, or you just do it anyways? Yeah. So it's not that's that whole saying about, courage is not the absence of fear. It's just doing it anyways. Right. So there's been a million times in my life where I've been terrified about what I was about to do or what I was doing, but I just did it because it needed to be done, and that could go in any of these categories. Sports probably the least of them.
And don't get it mixed up. It's not a past tense thing. There's still things I fear
for sure
today, and the reason, and that goes hand in hand with what we've talked about in previous podcasts. Like if you're comfortable, then you're not moving forward. You're not seeing a growth mindset there. So you got to attack things like that. But
all right, so for the rest of the show, I definitely want to touch on relationships and business. I know sports is a huge thing for us, so we spend a little more time on that. But I definitely want to focus on the mindsets in relationships and how they affect households, which I think is really what we're in doing this podcast and this movement for, is to really affect households in general. I think the coaching and the sports thing is good. Just to conclude that and finish that off, it's okay if your kid messes up. It's okay if your kid strikes out. It's okay if your kid misses the winning basket, dude. I mean, how many shots did Michael Jordan miss? They don't ever focus on how many shots he missed or how long he practiced until he did it.
Just so nobody gets butthurt too. It's also okay if they miss a key at the recital. Yeah, like seriously, there's other things other than sports that the same thing applies. Whatever they're into,
right? Yeah, in sports, your kid misses that winning headshot on gears or whatever. Don't ground them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay.
Don't ground your kid for not shooting somebody in the face.
And I think some of that stems from the parents comparing their kid to other kids.
It is. It definitely is, because everyone wants the best.
If they get out of that mindset, I think that's going to be a lot. It'll fix a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because your kid is special in his own right.
Right. Yeah.
And bring out the best of your kid and have the mindset to think of, okay, how can I get him to become better? Mm-hmm. You are the parent. Yep. You are in control. It's not the teacher's responsibility. It's not some babysitter's responsibility. It's not a nanny's responsibility. Yep. It's not your freaking grandmother or your mom.
Right.
It's yours.
It's all application and repetition. That's how your kid's going to be the best, And if you don't work with your kid, then he's not going to be the best. Sorry, he's just not. Work with your kid, application, repetition. Moving on, because I definitely want to be able to spend enough time on the other subjects too. Relationships. Okay. We're all four in relationships.
Okay.
So marriage, and I touched on this a little bit. I think a huge reason why divorce rates are so high nowadays is the prevalence of a fixed mindset. It's never going to get better.
Oh
I can't do anything to make my marriage better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the grass is greener over here. Again, fixed mindset. Everything's set in stone. I've already failed. I can't make this up, you know, or whatever, you know, or he cheated, right? Or she cheated. You know, things aren't ever, you know, it's the end. Dude, that's not the end, bro. Like, yeah, you suck. She sucks. He sucks, whatever. But it's not the end. You can still work that out. There's still, you have to have a growth mindset in a relationship. You have to be able to forgive. You have to be able to let go, forgive, forget, build on top of what you have. If the foundation is shaky, fix it. It doesn't have to be forever.
Right.
Focus on the areas that you need work in a relationship. Everyone gets lost, and everyone wants to work so damn hard in their job, but they want to come home and they want to sleep on their marriage.
Absolutely.
Dude, you can't go bust your ass in your job and expect to not come home and bust ass in your marriage, and it lasts forever. Yep. Everyone wants these Instagram relationships. Everyone, oh man, look at they're so good. I want a baby. Look how cute they are. Like, no, bro, you need to have a kid when you're ready to have a kid, not just because you know me and my wife look great with kids.
I want to shop for baby clothes.
Yeah,
Hey, so
yeah. I just want to.
Have you ever had a small child piss on you?
Yeah,
or worse.
You didn't put that on Instagram, did you?
I went on Instagram.
You didn't put when you had that Tootsie Roll on the side of your mouth.
That
What
stuff's
movie is
true.
that where he's like, oh, and he throws up in his mouth. Oh, yeah. It's in my mouth.
Hey, dude, and they're on the movies because it does happen.
for sure.
So, dude, and if you're coming into a relationship going, hey, because I've had the fixed mentality of they go, okay, our relationship's rocky, so we're gonna have a kid.
Let's have a
because
kid.
It's gonna
I'll fix
gel
it.
it together and make it work. And you're out of your mind. A kid is gonna make you separate faster than not having kids. To be honest with you, if you're going into a relationship and it's that rocky, first off, this is how I look at things. I look in the mirror and say, what am I doing wrong that's causing this relationship to go sour? Because most cases, not the other person. And it can be, but if you're always pointing the blame, fixed mindset, you are the problem. Right. So you need to be coming into that relationship, just like I said in a couple podcasts before, it's 100% zero.
Yeah.
You should go in 100% all in, not this half-ass shit, all in, and then make a commitment and go through. And you committed, if you're married and you're listening to this, married dude, it's your responsibility to see her through. And you should be treating her as a queen. You should be respecting her. You should be having a growth mindset of sense of everything's changing and not having a fixed mindset and go, oh, she's changing. I'm not liking it. No, have a growth mindset and go, oh, I'm enjoying this change. I'm enjoying this experience of seeing new things. You're so fixated on fixed mindset because you don't like change. Change is good.
Yeah.
Well, you're a better man than I am. I'm just going to tell you, and that sounds great, and I wish I did that more. Because for me personally, I think the fixed mindset part of it is I'm a very A-type personality, which I can be very independent at times, which is not necessarily great in a relationship.
I'd have never guessed you were an A-type. That blew me away.
Well, so but one of the things,
Capital A.
yeah, from an A-type personality kind of thing, it is a challenge for me to look at my wife, and my wife is awesome. I know we joke around and stuff like that. My wife is awesome, but my wife is also an A-type personality. So there's a challenge when it comes to that, because ultimately we both have that. We still have a fixed mindset that I'm working on fixing, that I have not yet accomplished in that realm, that I look at and go, hey, it's, I get mad. Like if something doesn't go my way, and not like fighting mad, but just frustrated. And if you're getting frustrated, then that's a good telltale sign that you have a fixed mindset. If you get frustrated very easily, then you can almost guarantee that you're in a fixed mindset, because when you get into a growth mindset, things don't frustrate you like that. You look at it like what you said, Wilson. It's, I look in the mirror and I go, okay, what could I have done better? Or when, and I'll give you an example. And this is something that I actually read in the book that I thought was really, crazy, because my wife, with her job that she has full time, she deals with a lot of mundane stuff and everything. And sometimes she comes home and things aggravate her about what happens at work. And she goes on and on and on and on about stuff that to be honest with you, one, I don't know about. Two, I don't care. And just to be completely transparent, and it's about the minor details and stuff like that. But eventually, here I am sitting here kind of ignoring her. The selective hearing, comes into play and stuff, which creates issues. Whereas in a growth mindset, I should be looking at her going, hey, listen, just to be 100% transparent and honest with you, I don't care about the orders you put in. Why did this person frustrate you? Like, what about what they did frustrated you? To be engaged in the conversation, but still be transparent. But instead, I'm in my own head going, I don't want to listen to this right now, and then check out.
Yeah. Dude, we're all guilty.
Yeah, I might
say what I say, but
I know that.
I'm still as guilty as you are, dude.
Well, the thought process
I'm not
doesn't
saying
change whether you're. I mean, none of us are perfect at it, but we still understand the concept and the goal. It's that whole you're never going to be perfect, but you're striving for excellence every day. We're all like that, and O would admit that, and his wife's in the room right now.
No, actually, I'm the best listener. I mean, you guys could probably hand her a mic, and she'll let you know. Yeah, right.
Why is she flipping you off right now?
Yeah, no, definitely all guilty for sure. I mean, another thing is too, and we're all talking about growth and growing, and no one at this table is perfect, and we're not. This is not some high horse we're coming down on. It's just we want to shed some light on some things and make you guys think. How could I be better in my relationship? Am I viewing this relationship from a fixed mindset or growth mindset? Fixed mindset, do I expect them to put me on a pedestal and praise me for things all the time? Worship me as some kind of idol? That's a fixed mindset in a relationship. It really is. And there's some people. Josh is like, wait, what?
Yes.
Is that a real relationship? Can we do that?
Wait, that's fixed? Oh, shit.
But a growth mindset is more, it really, is there. I'll just go from a rejection standpoint. So we'll talk about breakups or divorce. We'll just go that route for a second.
Yeah, let's go.
So rejection, can you let that go? Or even if someone messed up, are you harboring that bitterness, or are you allowing them to grow as a person and realize that they made a mistake and it's time to move on, and supporting them in the growth that they realize they messed up and they want to keep going and they want to keep growing? Are you supporting that and viewing that in the growth mindset, or are you harboring the bitterness and just allowing that to shut everything down and constantly blaming them on that? And I think that's so big nowadays with social media, everything now. It's harder to be faithful. And I don't want to make that sound. I don't mean for that to come off as a weak statement, but that's what for not for our generation. We didn't come from that.
I'm going to challenge that a little bit, though.
I'm down for that. Let me finish first. Yeah. So I'm talking about newer generation. I'm talking about younger cats. I'm not talking about our generation, older cats that are already married. I'm talking about younger cats. The thought of faithfulness and the time of having one partner through high school is becoming more and more rare because of the Tinders, because of the Snapchats and the DMs and everything, how the access to data. If you're raised correctly, it's not challenging, it's not hard. But if you're not and you don't have that example,
you think it's normal.
Exactly, you think it's normal.
Well, and that's the challenge, is because, well, number one is I don't think it's easier to have that mentality now than it used to be. I just think it's different. And there's another book I'm reading right now, which is fantastic. There's a lot of the stuff we're talking about has made me think of stuff he's saying in that book. But it's not like our parents' generation or our generation or the generation behind us is going to be because of social media, because of this or because of that, it's easier for them to get distracted, or it's easier for them to make poor decisions or whatever. No, it's not. They just have different things that still do it. Ultimately, what it comes down to, I think the biggest difference, which is why we're all here, is that each generation is getting further and further away from a good example. The only example they have is the bad example, which we've talked about over and over and over again. Right. Whereas when our kids, and we'll just speak about the boys, when our boys see us loving our wife, and that doesn't mean like always being lovey-dovey, it means loving our wife, meaning doing the hard stuff, doing the things that aren't convenient, and also being lovey-dovey and kissing on our wife and praising her and doing those kinds of things. When they see that, then they see what the real marriage should look like, as opposed to the Instagram relationship.
Yeah,
right.
And just to speak, just because I'm the only one that's got a daughter in the room.
Praise Jesus.
Good Lord. Look. But you're talking about, showing and putting that example. That's even more important for guys with daughters.
100%.
Even more important. And I'm going to say that it is because your daughter watches you fellas, and she sees how you treat your wife. And that's the kind of guy that she's going to look for when it's dating time.
And then when she brings him home,
Yeah, you can't even be mad about it,
can't
bro.
be mad at it.
You're gonna be mad about it because it's a boy in general.
Yeah.
But when she brings home that douchebag, that's on you.
right?
Yep.
You know.
Seeing a
There's so
smaller
many
version
people
of yourself standing
Yep.
on your front porch.
It's
true.
Good Lord, I'm glad I
You can't
sharpened
blow
up.
him away. You the same dude. Yo.
Yeah.
Ouch.
So,
It's
that's,
yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna be a good huge big old slice of humble pie with a side of ice cream right there for you, bro.
Well,
So-
I'll tell you what's a big old slice of humble pie that goes into this relationship thing is truly being humble and being able to submit to your partner. To me, and I don't know about you guys, but to me that is the most difficult thing that that I've ever done, and I think it's from the inside, it's really really hard for me. From the outside, when we're talking about with kids, that is an absolute blessing to be able to see your parents do that. Because there's times when I 100% know that I'm right, and it is nearly impossible for me to walk in there and be like, you know what, honey, I'm sorry. There's no reason for us to be arguing about that.
and that's the point. If we as men and those who are listening to this that are men can just humble themselves to just say sorry, even if you are wrong or right.
Just say I'm wrong, even
Just-
if you're not.
it's okay,
Who cares, Dan?
dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm the
What does it
first.
matter? What does it
I'm
matter?
literally the first person to say sorry, and that was I don't know where I got that. I like to just let's just whatever this is, let's just get it into a right level of like how I think about it. My mindset is how I remembered how I fell in love with this person, why I'm with that person, why I committed to that
Well,
person.
the fact that you are married
Yeah,
and we are
'cause-
going to be together for the rest of our life.
right, it's a commitment to me.
So let's just go ahead and get
forever.
past this argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no one's keeping score, bro.
Yeah,
Like, just let
exactly.
it go.
Let it go. And you got to pick and choose your battles. There are some things that you need to stand for if there's things you believe in that are going to be against what you think, but you have a conversation behind closed doors. Please, for the love of God, don't argue in front of your kids like to the high voices and stuff like that and just getting irate, throwing crap. Dude, if you're going to do that, take it outside. Just get away from your kids because that hits home for me.
And there's more stuff to throw outside.
And that's the relationships that I didn't want to have. So whenever I came into our relationship, I wanted to make sure it was good, and it was a growth mindset all the way.
Yeah. So with you saying that, thank God people don't smoke in their houses anymore because those big like 10-pound glass ashtrays they used to have.
Right.
No, but in all seriousness, on the flip side of that, don't hide everything from your kids either, because I know a lot of people that are messed up in their relationships today because their parents never fought. Their parents were always like whatever. They avoided confrontation, whatever it may have been. And now, 20 years down the road, they're married and they're like, what is this stuff going on in my marriage? Like this should not be happening. This is not okay to argue, because it is okay.
Yeah.
Now, to your point, you shouldn't be throwing stuff. You shouldn't be yelling and screaming and, whatever. But I think it is healthy to see parents, your kids to see you and your wife, or you and your husband, if you're a lady listening to this, which you're welcome to listen to it, obviously. But if they see you get into an issue and then you're big enough to handle the problem,
Yes.
especially if it gets heated and stuff, and obviously, but you're able to sit down at the table afterwards and go, listen, I'm sorry. I know that you feel very passionately about that. I didn't see it as a big deal, whatever it may have been, but you don't want to make it look like this Pleasantville house when it's
Right.
actually not.
Needs to be real.
Yeah, because they're going to have to be able to handle those situations.
And then after you resolve it, make out with your wife in front of them so they know everything's good. Seriously, I
Absolutely.
mean, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Like if you get in a little bit of a conversation in front of your kids and it's high volume, then let them know it's really resolved. Like go love on each other a little bit. Like you don't have to be full tongue.
so
or
not a
anything.
butt out hug.
No, you got to
Not
be
a
full
butt out
tongue.
hug.
You
Minute.
got to be full tongue.
Maybe a little
Full
bit of
tongue.
growth.
Okay, full tongue. Commit.
So,
You got to commit.
He's 4. I don't know if he's like, what are you doing to my mom?
hey,
Why are you licking mommy's eyebrows?
here's a funny story for us. We Ashley and I we get into little spats every now and then. So being transparent. So afterwards, I'm like, I'll give her a good game or whatever, and my son's like, his name's Finn. He
What's a
goes,
good game?
Why are you smacking mom's butt? And I said, well, when people love each other, they kind of smack each other's butt. So now he's going around smacking people's butt that he loves. Not all
love
the way.
everybody.
I've corrected that. I've corrected course, but that's pretty funny. But now going back to fixed mindset and growth mindset, what's the difference between that in these scenarios? A fixed mindset is going to be more or less not wanting to say sorry.
Right.
Saying I'm always right. It's my way or no way.
Well, that and blaming as well.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
very blaming everything on your partner. is very fixed mindset.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like if you're pointing the finger, there's three pointing right back at you, bro. Mm-hmm. So if you have that blame somebody else, just take personal responsibility. And I'm telling you, it's the most freeing thing you can do. It sucks for the first few times when you know you did something wrong. But man, when you own up to it, your relationships get tighter. Mm-hmm. You guys get more real, and you guys can actually work through some things.
Yeah.
I'm holding myself back from the comments. I was going to say that the faster you get through it, the faster you get to make out with your wife. But
that's true.
That's a growth mindset.
Hey,
for
makeup
me.
sex is awesome.
Yeah,
and you can do that too.
Yeah.
Did you say the S word?
Yes.
On this podcast? You
hey,
shithead.
okay, so healthy relationships and in marriage, sex is
healthy
a normal
marriage
thing.
relationship.
If you're a woman,
It's an important thing.
Give it up more to your husband.
Whoa,
if
he
you're a
went there.
man, don't take the first no as a no, and actually, go for it. Hey, if you want to take that as
Five
whatever,
no's, and the
that's
fifth
fine.
no, she means it. All right.
Yes, 5 no's. So go a
My
little
wife's
bit
saying
deeper.
yes, so that's approved.
Hey,
that's female approved. Guys.
Hey, girls want to be like chased after. They like
Yeah,
to play a
pursue,
little, like, hey, I really don't want to, but they really do. So it means you go a little further. Don't just take the first no and be like, roll over like a little bitch and go.
Now, some of y'all
thing is
don't
the-
misunderstand the message here.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not just ladies, put out more often. It's guys earn it.
Yeah, earn it. Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
And
Not
if you're
just-
not getting it enough, then find out what's going on to get you some more.
Let me tell you. So I came home from work a couple days in a row. Like I got to come home for lunch, and I had the dishes done, right? And she's like, Candy's like, you trying to get laid?
Yeah, hell yeah, I am. And
I don't know if you
Am
saw
I
the
awake?
dishes.
Hey, and if it's a problem,
Dishes.
I will
Hell,
say
I
this.
vacuumed, I dusted.
I did everything. The house is spotless.
Yep.
So, but now
The
if
kids
that
are
is
the
an issue-
babysitters. What babysitter? Oh, shit.
I'll say this, and I'm just blessed to be in a marriage that we do a lot. So it's awesome because we love each other. But it's not necessarily that's not necessarily the case. Okay, so
Golden retriever.
yeah, golden retriever, baby.
We're just
Yeah.
humping.
But anyway,
He's still got the yellow tennis ball in his mouth.
that actually
Pull my tail harder. Pull my tail.
Oh my gosh, I hate you guys.
Oh, this is great.
Okay, so if you're serious and there's seriously some issues there sexually or whatever, I'm not like some doctor or whatever, but go pick up the 5 Love Languages book. Go pick up the 5 Love Languages book. Read it, digest it, and follow it. And you two together to find out what's missing. What's your spouse not doing for you to fill your love tank? Because if your love tank's full, you should be having sex all the time.
Yeah. And guys, dude, I talked about if your foundation's weak, fix your foundation. Mm-hmm. The book Wilson just mentioned fixes the foundation because you figure out what it's you. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
It's a cheat code.
It really,
It really is.
very much. So it's very inflective. Reflect. I don't know what I'm saying. Hi, I'm Chris.
You want me to help you out with that one?
Good Lord. So, but you figure out what you're. Yeah, I know. So,
Hi, my name's O, and this is the Shepherd's Men.
this is Shepherd's Man. Bye.
Right.
So,
I'm not the only one. You hear it?
I know, dude. I know.
We're not
We'll edit that out. We'll just leave Wilson stuff in.
Good Lord, dude. No, but that book alone is it helps you learn who you are and what you look for in a relationship, and it helps you find out what if your partner reads it as well, who your partner is and what they look for in a relationship, because we're all raised different, dude. So, dude, if you hit jackpot and your guys' love language is the same, sweet. That's so much easier. But that's never how it is, man.
That very seldom happens.
Yeah.
I just want to say something too, since we're all about empowering men and hopefully helping men learn what they need to be in every area. We're talking about sex. Listen, dude, don't be such a punk ass that you don't pleasure your wife too.
my
Seriously,
gosh,
don't just be in it for you, man. Like and I'm not trying to be whatever, but like one of the things that I enjoy the most about our sex life is me being able to pleasure my wife. Like that is something that you should look forward to doing. Like you should be able to, and you need to consider her in that time. Like you don't just need to be like hit it and quit it and I'm going to sleep. That's not how it works, man.
No.
That's why
why
she's
you
going
probably
to
don't
keep
get
saying
as
no
much.
more than 5 times.
Well,
Yeah.
if you married an A-type personality, that's not an option.
So one piece of advice that I got, and I shared this with you guys on a call the other day, was if you've got the dick of a sewing needle, you better learn how to fuck like a sewing machine. Right? So
I don't know where we've gone at this point.
Yeah,
No, but
we're talking about mindset. This is important, though, guys.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is, and to get off of the sex thing, like, you got to figure that out if you're a guy. But the love languages thing, believe it or not, like we've talked about in the past, the small things are going to get you to the goals that you want, whether that's sex, success, money, whatever it is. There are certain things that you're going to have to do to get there. And that book, I'm telling you right now, and me being me, and I was very transparent about my own problems with being A-type personality and stuff. That book sat on my bookshelf for over a year and a half. I was like, I don't need to read that stupid book.
Yep.
5 Love Languages. Are you kidding me? But I'll tell you right now, what you said, O'Neill, is the absolute truth. I found out what I needed.
Right.
And I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, I found out what I needed, and I found out what my wife's love language was. And sometimes it's a mix between the two, but it's really enlightening. And when you figure that out, I honestly believe it's a cheat code, because then every once in a while you're like, if you're getting the craving and stuff, man, you go hit that love language a couple times, and it's like, and I don't mean hit the book. I mean, you hit her love
Whatever
language a
hers
few
is,
times, and it's like, she'll throw it at you.
Yeah. And so I want to, and since we're talking about relationships too, and I see this a lot in parents and families, if you have kids, don't be putting your kids before you and your wife, because you and your wife wouldn't have kids without you and your wife.
Right.
So you are the foundation of this, and that's why this is important. What we're talking about is because if you guys break up, now your kids are stuck with a broken home with random problems that brings. Because, I mean, I don't know, I'm from a broken home. I think all of us except Cam's from
I
a
am
broken
too.
home. You are too? Oh, yeah, you are. So we all understand what that's like. I forgot. Sorry. Your dad's so cool, and your mom, I just forget that.
I mean, I don't. When people use the term like broken home, to me, I'm like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a
I get it.
negative
Like that's what they
yeah.
call it. Like my parents got divorced, and then my dad got remarried. But there's nothing broken there. The marriage broken, whatever. But they did it about as good as anybody can do it, considering the situation. So, anyways, I don't see it as a hindrance.
That's a great point, though, Wilson. And we could go on with that forever, but it's one of those things where when you put it into perspective, you entered this household and you will leave this household one day. We will be together forever.
Right.
Correct.
And and I'm just, the book is Raising Men, Not Boys. There's a few different books out there with similar titles, and he talks about that as well. He's like, your relationship with your wife is top priority. That one is forever. Your relationship with your kids is for, whatever, it should be 18 years, in my opinion. Or 25 or whenever you can get them out of the house. But so you're giving them for a season to grow them and mature them and teach them and then set them out into the world. Your wife is forever.
Or should be.
And you should treat it that way.
And that's where a lot of problems with households are right now, is the kids, the top priority in the house. And that's twisted.
All right, so fixed mindset, growth mindset in this scenario. Fixed mindset, you're like, I'm not going to read this book. We're telling you what to do. And the fixed mindset says, screw you guys, I'm not going to read this book. And you are having the issues. Growth mindset says, dude, I'm going to pick up that book tomorrow or right now. You can buy it on Kindle or whatever you got to do, and be serious about it. Read it. Read it together, though.
Well, fixed mindset might mean you don't want to know the truth. And if you read that book, you might find out the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
nothing
what it
can
is.
change my relationship. It's already the way, nothing's going to fix this relationship. That's fixed mindset. It's all her fault, all his fault.
Because
kind of
I know everything.
Yeah, I'm basically, it's shut up, dude. Read the freaking book. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good title for a book. Shut up, dude.
shut
Read
up,
the
dude.
book.
Read
You're
this.
right, and that's why you will have sex with yourself.
Yeah,
for the rest of your
Exactly
life.
right. Exactly.
And then that's
Pamela
another
Henderson.
note too. I mean, then you go enter in and see what's on the interwebs of what you can see
doing
and
a lot of dumb
access, and then that opens up a whole nother can, because your wife feels like she's like not important and doesn't feel good about it because you're a loser and not doing what you're supposed to be doing. We're giving you the recipe. Listen,
That's really mean and harsh.
I don't care. It's
And
very
true.
Yeah.
we ain't here to coddle your ass. We're not here to make you feel good. We're here to make you better. So get over yourself.
Yeah, I really wanted to cover business in this episode too, but I think we're going to omit that just in the interest of time. And I definitely want to cover that again. A few episodes down the road, I definitely want to cover mental toughness, and I think business will really fall under that a lot more. So just to go over the mindsets again, so people don't have to go all the way back to the beginning to hear the definitions. A fixed mindset means that you believe that your qualities are carved in stone. This kind of mindset creates the urgency to prove yourself over and over and constantly looking for recognition. Failure is death. Failure is the end. Okay? Fixed mindset sucks. Catch yourself when you're in the fixed mindset. Change it to the growth mindset. Growth mindset is the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts, your strategies, your help for others, right? We talked about application, repetition, okay? You're not going to start playing a video game. You're not going to start playing baseball tomorrow and be the best at it. It's going to take hours and hours. 10,000 hours will make you an expert in your field. 10,000. Lots of studies on that. Check those out. Although people may differ in every which way, people can grow through application and repetition. What I just said. Failure is an opportunity. Learn from your failures, dude. For one, I think everyone in this room understands school is not the future. No. But schooling yourself is, okay? Failing a test is not the end, okay? Failing a grade is not the end. You need to grow. I know. What? So it's the next step, okay? Grow from your failures. Learn from your failures. You may not always win, but you will never learn or never lose. Let me say that again. You may not always win, but you will never lose. You will learn. Lord have mercy. The biggest thing from this guy, sports-wise, okay? If you strike out, it's not the end. Go to batting practice. Every day. You want to be a pro baseball player? Every single day, go to the cages. Every day. Off season, every day. The right way, right? Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Form is everything. Mindset is everything. It's not fail. It's become. That being said, in relationships as well, if your foundation is shaky, fix it. Right? We listed several books for you guys to read. Check out. Don't cliff note these books. Read 10 pages a day. It's so simple, man. Get up 30 minutes early, knock out some pages, right? 30 minutes. If you're a slow reader, you should be at least be able to get through 5 before you go to work, right? Lunchtime, read a couple more. Before bed, read a couple more. Never stop learning. Growth mindset. Never stop learning. Always school yourself. Relationships. Stop blaming the other person. Okay? Touch base with them. 5 love languages. Read it. Figure out what your love language is. Figure out what their love language is. Apply. Learn. Growth. Failure is not the end. Failure is becoming. Guys, you can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on, what's the business one?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What's the professional one?
Yeah.
Glad we didn't talk about that today.
Yeah. We're on LinkedIn. Guys, we're all over the place, guys. Shoot us a follow. Whatever your favorite one is. You don't have to follow us on all of them, okay? It's annoying. Figure out whatever your favorite one is, your main one is, dude, follow it, okay? You guys, the podcast is on Spotify now. It's always been on SoundCloud. That's the basis. We've applied for iTunes. We're on Stitcher, I believe, now. So we also have a website that we've just launched, shepherdsof.men. Phenomenal. Go check it out. I really would love to hear what you guys think about the new website. Dude, if you like what you're hearing, man, drop us a follow on those sites, man. Drop us a like. Drop us some comments, man. If you have questions or want to call us out on something, look, this is Glasshouse mentality, man. Call us out. We'd love to have a conversation going back and forth. Give us something to talk about on the next episode or touch base on from a previous episode. Love to hear from you guys. We love constructive criticism. Okay? If you're just going to talk shit, you're going to get shit. But if constructive criticism, we love that. So, guys, I'm O. Again, I was joined with JP Wilson and Cam. This was episode 4, Mindset. This is the movement.